Pursuant to the Sunshine Law, adequate notice in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act was provided on January 6, 2023, of this meeting's date, time, and place, and the agenda was mailed to the news media, posted on the Township Bulletin Board, mailed to those requesting personal notice, and filed with the municipal clerk. Paul Mullen,
Here.
Becky Lowry is absent. Jason Meilenberg,
Here.
John Frasting is absent. Teresa Vaquero, absent. Josh Covart is absent. Michael Cargill
Here.
and Jessica Hess. So we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. So first order of business is review and approving of the April minutes. We got a copy of that. Hopefully you made your comments already to Mary Ann. If not, feel free to make them now. Otherwise, can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll motion.
Can I get a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Great.
Motion carries.
Done. Order done the meeting. But before we get going, there's two pieces of business I would like to discuss. First is that it's unfortunate I must announce that Mary Ann has submitted her resignation effective the 19th. I wasn't sure you were going to be here at tonight's meeting, which would have been perfect actually. I would have had to be monkeying around with that. But you know, your time here was brief. And I'd like to say how much we appreciated your professionalism. There were times here where there was a challenge, I would think. But I think you showed your professionalism, pulled through this on. I'd like to wish you the best in your next position. I don't know if you want to tell them where you're going. So there it is. She just needed to put cranberry on her resume. They were like cranberry.
That's how I got my appointment to work.
That's it. Happens a lot around here. So yeah, so good luck. Wherever you go. Second order of business is that I also have to regret the announcement that Jim Gallagher has decided to leave DC. And that's effective immediately. So we do have an opening. And I've known Jim since 2007 when I first started working on the Environmental Commission. I think I sent you guys around some of this information. And he's been working, I think, since 2004 as a volunteer, maybe even longer, for the township. So it's very good service with the Planning Board, the DRC, Environmental Commission, things of that nature. I've always valued his opinion, even when he disagrees with me. And he did often, because he knows more than I do. So I learned a lot from him his time here, and he's going to be missed, not only here, but in the Planning Board. He was a strong voice for the Environmental Commission and the Planning Board. And part two of that is the Environmental Commission, by state law, has to be represented on the Planning Board. If you have an Environmental Commission, which not all the towns do, but if you do, that Environmental Commission has to be represented on the Planning Board. So somebody from the Environmental Commission is going to have to step up and do that. Their next meeting is June 1st, 2nd. It's very early. There's been times where there hasn't been representation from the EC because of situations like this. So it's not like they can't have the planning board meeting. It's just that that's a requirement that has to be on its way to being filled. So I still have to figure out how that's done, to tell you the truth. So I've got some meetings with the mayor and whatnot. So those are the two announcements. As a preamble to this. Oh, actually, we do have that vacancy was posted, and that vacancy was we had somebody submit an application for it already, and it's someone who used to be on the Environmental Commission. Also, when I was back in 2007, I invited that person here tonight, but I don't think he can make it. He should show up later, I don't know, but he'll be at the next meeting, probably, if he could make this one. So, with that, I'd like to call the meeting. Here's Barbara. Hello. We're just getting going. You can grab a seat right there because we're going to need you to talk. No, we do. We just made it. It's been a tough day for you right now. Okay, so we're up to you. I swear to God. But I did just announce the fact that Marianne is leaving, and also that Jim Gallagher has resigned. Barbara, we could push you back a little bit if you want to just catch your breath a bit. Good. I don't know how many reports we had to give here, Jason. I know there was a May 4th meeting. I don't know if you attend that.
I missed it. It was canceled. A day and a half later, it was rescheduled. We moved on.
Yeah,
Made
so
other plans.
that hasn't hit the deer. That was, from what I could see from the agenda, it was an expansion to George's garage.
Right. It didn't seem like a.
That hasn't been before the DRC already.
I have never heard of it, so it doesn't sound like a gigantic project.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That's the report. Planning board also had a meeting. As Jim has resigned, so he's not here to talk about it. But per the agenda, I know there was only a resolution regarding what he'd already talked to us about once before, and that was the Enterprise rent-a-car on Route 130. So I don't envision there was much to be said and done about that. So Brendan, parks. I know you guys had one on the 10th, meeting on the 10th.
Hello, everyone. Brendan Hansen from the Parks Commission. Hold on a moment. I reported to the Parks Commission regarding the EC's, or actually Sally reported this, but we discussed the EC's want for us to take a look at natural materials for an inclusive playground, and that is something that we have been advised of and we'll take a look at. That there's a subcommittee we've set up, and those members have been advised that feel free to reach out to Parks about this. I'm sorry, EC about this. There were questions from members on the Environmental Commission about some of the vegetation and growth around the edge of the lake. So soon after the dredging, I was asked to report that and ask if there's any information on that. And one of our members did report that, and I don't know that there's really anything at all to be done about this, but one of our members reported that the trail at Pin Oaks can often be quite waterlogged and wet. And that's all I have for you from our meeting last week.
Okay, good. I think it's just regarding the Pin Oaks trail being wet. Yep, we were there, my wife and I, after a storm, and you had to walk around some mud. No doubt about that. We do advise people, at least on Reinhardt, be ready for that because most trails get muddy.
There was
What it is, its nature, but we had built mud bridges, and most of them by Barbara's husband, and they do work wonders out there on Reinhardt. So if there is an area that does get pure, pretty often wet, maybe consider a mud bridge out there. Do you remember where in particular?
I don't believe that was specifically mentioned, but I imagine it was, the area nearest the stream, not the river, Millstone River, but the stream that runs perpendicular to it.
Right, then irrigation ditch probably.
Yeah, I guess it's more of yeah, that's right. For an irrigation ditch in the stream.
Other Anything else?
No, that's all.
Well, thank you very much.
Is there
Oh, sorry.
anything for the regarding the lake vegetation?
Oh, from our perspective, I have not had a chance to go out there and look at that. I don't know if anyone else has.
I haven't myself, actually.
No. I just haven't. Is there a pinpointed area or just right along where the,
Right along where Village Park meets the water.
you mean like that whole border?
It's I don't recall. I don't think there was
I
any
think the only
specific
place
area
I did
pinpointed.
notice it was that floating dock, whatever that is. I noticed that there was a significant amount of vegetation around that area. Don't know what would be done about that from an EC standpoint.
All right, thank you.
Maybe we could look at it and see if there is something there. I mean, if there was some. I'm trying to think what it would be.
I was not the one to report this. I didn't see it, and no photos were shared with me. But I was imagining like ferny plant kind of growth, as opposed to algae.
I mean, we do get a lot of runoff. That's sort of the point of the rain garden. Was that I thought that too, but I don't think so. I think they're talking about physically in the water. Right, but that's what the report was, is that even though we just went through the dredging, they see some significant growth in one area. It probably behooves us to get out there and take a look at it. So if if you're saying the entire area,
I don't know if it's the entire one or not. I didn't make
maybe
a
there
note
is
of that.
something that we could see that's happening, like maybe runoff in particular that's avoiding the rain garden that's coming from whatever, you know. I walk around there a pretty decent amount, but I never thought to look there. But I wasn't not looking there. In other words, it didn't come jumping out at me. My wife go there to look at birds all the time, so we're looking down the shoreline. So it's not like I see an explosion of growth. Maybe there is some below water. I agree. So maybe the take back is rather than saying explore the whole coastline there, if it's just here's a good example of what we're talking about. They can pinpoint that. You can look at it and say that's natural, that's actually desirable. It's almost like the plants you were talking about that are on the shoreline. That's desirable, to tell you the truth, because those plants we won't want riparian zone to be growing there. We don't want an unimpeded view of the entire bank and the waterway. It's good to have. It's good to have plant growth there. So it may not be as scenic as you like, as scenic the crystal blue water, but having that stuff there might be a good thing. So they can provide like a spot where they really think it shows where they believe the problem is. We can look at that and see what that's about. Yeah. It could be. I gotta admit, I didn't even try and look for it, but I will try next time there. Looking for the blue heron.
All right, thank you. I'll take that back to the Parks Commission.
All right, very good. Thank you again. On to preserve management. Barbara, I'm glad you're here because the first. Okay, then well, you can roll right into stream cleanup too while you're at it because it's our first preserve management thing. I have the numbers. I do have the numbers. Fun. I mean,
There you go. Okay, so Teresa and I have been working on a bunch of sustainability things, and but before I get into that, I just want to say the Tour de Cranberry was really fun. Did you guys get? You didn't get to go with your kids or anything? Okay, it was a really great event. It was last 2 weekends ago, and there was 3 different biking events at all different levels, and Tyler did a fantastic job in including everybody of all bike levels. And what was really one of the reasons that this was to be put on is so that people can connect the village with the farms and see our open space as well. That was kind of my objective. His objective was to pull this off, which was a great thing. And he had over 100 people. And the other thing is to complement our bike network plan that we're trying to implement. And the county put in 1.6 miles just prior to the, have you been on Old Trenton Road? There's actually, we have a bike path on Old Trenton Road now. So there's 1.6 miles of bike path. So that's really exciting. It was one of the first projects that this new engineer got put into place for the county. So things are happening there. And so that was really exciting. Let's see. Put my glasses on. Okay. The green team, what we've been up to. You guys are all on the green team. You're all welcome to, pipe in and join in on any of these if you ever want to, learn more about this. Happy to work with you all. The EC is the green team. It's in a resolution. We've been working on, Teresa and I in particular have been working on community solar. I already mentioned that last time I was here. I sent information to Paul. Hopefully you may have looked at some of the stuff that I sent you. If not, I would and hopefully maybe you can pass it on to the other members at some point. We could pick out a few things because there's a lot of information out on it. This happens to be a Board of Public Utilities flyer, information about what community solar is. And the reason why I'm coming to you in particular, we also have a resolution that the Township Committee last year is in support of projects that have certain criteria. And those criteria include a discount on electricity. It was 20% for low to moderate income, 15% for all others, and provide additional benefits in the community through free job training. So any company or project that has these particular criteria, we said as a township that we would support them. That's what this resolution is about. And the 4th thing is provide subscription with flexible terms, no additional fees, and no minimum time requirement for subscription. So the reason why I'm asking, there's a new project that's coming online this summer, and subscribers, they can take up to 800 subscribers, which means not only is it 20%, but if we do this as a community, the amount of energy that you use from that particular project, it's not your entire bill, it's a portion of your bill that is that goes into your PSE&G bill from this particular, it's called Solar Landscapers. This particular project, you will get 25% off your energy bill. And what's really cool about this isn't coming from West Virginia. It's not coming from Colorado. This is coming from our warehouse right across the way, right nearby. So anyway, what I'm asking the Green Team, the EC, is to advise. Hopefully, you would advise that the Township Committee will support this particular project or any project that meets the 4 criteria. Yeah.
Hasn't that already been done? Isn't that what the resolution is?
That's what the resolution is. Yes.
Yeah. So
But-
right now the township has already said, writing with that resolution that they will support any project that meets those requirements. They didn't want to say a specific
Right,
company, but
right,
anyone that does, you
Right.
guys support that.
right.
So what new thing are you asking?
Well, what's new is there is now a project. So like, let's
Oh,
say,
okay.
hey, the green team says, yeah, hey, there is a project that meets these 4 criteria, and I know they do because it's online,
Okay.
it's on this dashboard that you can go to and look at what they do. And this one particular, if there's another, company that does these criteria, we should support that too.
Absolutely.
Because they need these subscribers in order to continue their this is a great thing. This is
No,
renewable.
I agree, and you and I
This is-
talked about this, and I think probably as a group, we can say that we agree with these types of.
Well, I just
things.
want to make sure that,
No, but, so what's the next, like, we have a quorum.
Yeah.
We could actually, officially, make a statement and adopt and approve a statement to the township committee saying we do this. I just don't know what that this is because it sounds like it's already been done.
Right.
But I mean, I think
I guess
speak
what
for
I'm
us all
saying
that
now,
we-
this is proof in the concept. This
Right.
resolution was like companies that have these criteria, like we're going to support that. Well, now there is Solar Landscape. I'm saying the name out loud.
Yeah,
Like there is one project that has our criteria. If there's another one named Joe Schmo, we support Joe Schmo that has these 4 criteria that does this thing, whatever the name is. I mean,
So
that
could
sounds
we-
like a horrible thing.
Could we say that, it was brought to our attention that, there are projects in the works, amongst them, these ones by Solar Landscape, that the township should support, as fully as possible. And I'm not
But
sure
I want to
what-
make sure that everyone's in agreement, like, from the green team, and I'm not, I don't want to make this blatant statement.
Is the goal to issue another resolution of support specifically for the project that's going on now?
No,
Okay.
the goal is once the green team decides, yes, this makes sense, it goes according to the resolution. Like the next step would be, let's put it on our website. Like we have a location within the township website. It's under public utilities. So let's now create a link to this particular project so that people from the public, so that it's done publicly.
So you just want to recognize.
I want to recognize it, but we want subscribers,
You wanna
not just the
advertise
EC that knows about it. I want the public to know about this project so that we can all save 25% on the portion of the energy that comes from that solar array.
Yeah.
Would you want a
Yes.
township website?
Yes.
Probably, as opposed to the EC
Do
website.
we want a link to the project in which they provide a link to subscribe? I mean, is linking to subscribe for a program, is it, it's a private, that's the part, so it's through BPU?
It's through BPU. This is a state program, community solar.
No,
Yeah.
no, but when you subscribe, I guess this is the part that, as somebody who's talked to too many solar people.
And
Yeah,
me
and-
too. Oh my gosh. I was like, this, that. And I have
Right.
talked to so many people. Are you sure we could do this?
So the whole thing is it's 25% off of a portion of your bill, whether it is when they're pumping the energy in or when they're collecting it. There's like 25% of your energy bill, or probably, as it breaks down, there's a portion of it
Right.
that you get reduced.
Right.
So the
Is that
rest of it,
25%?
but so 25%, and then you got 75% is 100%,
Right.
and then 25% gets 25%.
Right.
So it's not a full quarter reduction.
No, and that I don't ever.
And
no,
I think
would
that's the
never say
confusing part about the whole solar thing.
that.
If
Confusing.
somebody shows up to your house and tells you you're gonna save money, it's on a small portion, to a certain point, and then you might make some money off of it. So, but 25,
I have spoken to people in other towns. There are other towns that are already doing this,
Right.
and they say there's a significant discount on it.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, I just don't, to Paul's point, are we, we can recognize it, but are we going to go as far as to endorse it. That's a fiscal transaction that you're making, right? Or are you just signing up saying you support it, and you get 25% just for showing up?
So, I think what I'm asking for is, and Teresa and I have discussed this, is a place, like, for you to kind of, like, this is a green team initiative.
Mhm.
Community solar is a good thing because it's a renewable energy. This project does what we think it needs to do. We want to put information on the website, and we want to have a link to, maybe to the project, and then
From there, you can navigate to the next step, which would be
yes.
Well,
As long
there's
as-
another step in between that, which is some community education. There's the
Well,
presentation.
yes.
So people could ask all the questions that we're kind of asking now.
right. So a website educates and says, we do have a project now locally. Here's a link. Do your research.
Well, aren't
Figure
you-
out if you want to sign up.
But
Right.
we endorse that, like, this is a state program.
Right.
This is
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
that's
this
what the
is good.
education,
Yeah,
yeah. You can even put a copy of the resolution down. Town supports this project.
Right, right.
Not that anybody can read a resolution and figure out what it's trying to tell.
Well, this was pretty basic.
But you know what, though? You made an excellent point there of highlighting the fact that without some education, some people might think it's 25% of their entire bill. And it's not. It's a 25% of a portion of their bill.
Well,
So-
this explains it.
It does, but I mean, you have to read it. And
That's
no, you do have to read it.
It's the hardest part. but
That's
yeah,
not, that's
yeah.
not, that's not a trivial part for some. For some
Oh, my
aspects.
glasses, otherwise I'd read it to you.
It's okay. I don't want you to read it to me. I'm thinking about the public in general. So if we're putting something out there, we would have to vet it ourselves. If we're going to put our reputation on there saying this is a valid project that is, fiscally accurate or whatever you want to say. And I know I'm not prepared to say that, but you guys might be because you have spent all that time.
I've
behind
talked to,
the scenes.
I've talked to,
Right.
I've talked to Sustainable Jersey, I've talked to, I've talked to PSENG, because I'm like, I am the guinea pig. I am looking over a
Well-
cliff, and I've actually tried.
But my vantage point is that because they're registered with the state doing this,
Yeah.
the state has done that. I mean, they're not going to let some charlatan coming in here and saying, yes, we've got a great program for you, and you find out that it's smoke and mirrors. There's probably just a lot of regulations they have to go through to make sure that this is in fact
They
a good
actually have to
project.
go through a pretty rigorous, there's a rigorous application process.
Right.
Yes, and they get points, and these people win certain projects.
Right.
And it's not just them.
And obviously, the
there's other
state thinks these are great.
ones. Oh, yeah, they're going
Right.
there.
And it's really just an education program to people to say, you might not know what this is, but this is really good for you, it's good for the state.
But it's for
And here's
places
one
that
for you.
can't have solar. Like
Right.
a lot of the low to moderate income, those are multifamilies. So it's going in places that that can't have solar, and then it's allowing other people to get into renewable energy and save money. So what's great about this is we do it as a community, we get 25% versus 20 and 15. Now even the low to moderate income get 25%, and 51% of this project is saved for subscriptions for low to moderate income, which is pretty amazing. And I have reached out to Cranberry Housing Association too, and they're looking into it and working on it. So the word needs to get out that
Everything
this is
I've
here.
heard about it, it sounds excellent.
Right. I
The
mean,
only- the only thing I
What are the
I'm baffled
pitfalls?
about is, no. The only thing I'm baffled about is what do you want us to do? What's the next step? What do you want us to do here tonight?
I want to be able to go to I think as an advisory, you guys advise the township committee, that this is, one of the goals of the, for renewable energy, to support renewable energy, and this is a project that we should continue. That we should
I can do that.
that we should do community education, as Jason said, like put something on the website, have people read it, and then subscribe. I mean, that's kind of what I'm asking.
Right.
Like, do you guys?
We only have 4 people here right now.
That's a
AC,
quorum.
but we've already had, AC has already said in the past that we support community solar.
Right.
So we still support some community solar. I could send something to the township committee and just say at the May meeting, brought up what you just brought up.
A particular project that meets
particular
all the
project.
criteria.
Just a reminder, the EC is in full support of this type of activity. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
as
I can
such,
say that
this
without-
project, from
Yes.
the way of, meeting the criteria.
And any
has
business.
our support.
we're hardly in favor of this. If that helps the project go forward, I think we can vote on it as something that we can do. I just want to make sure that that's what you want us to do.
Yeah, I think
If you
so.
think that's
And
going to be helpful, that's the real question.
I think it'll be helpful because you're the advisory and, and to be able to say solar landscape meets these criteria and any other project, any other business that particularly meets the criteria and the resolution, we should support.
I have no problem with,
And people should subscribe to
Right,
it
so-
to save money.
I think we're at a point now, unless you've got something else, where I could say,
Well, you've looked at it and you've determined,
And Teresa too.
okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't come to you and say, we meet Cranberry's criteria?
No,
As a
there is an
project?
actual portal, like where you go and you see all the state
So you-
different things, and
gives
these
you-
meet the criteria.
yeah, but
Okay.
the state has determined they met the criteria, right? Because if.
They have to have because this is actually on the, I think on the BPU website too, that all the projects that are
Right.
in the state, yeah.
So all
You know,
those,
I'd be more comfortable if we could take it back, maybe do research and visit it next month. If that's not too much trouble, only because I don't know if it's a self-certification, they're saying that they meet it, or if the state has already done the homework, they met the program,
It's on the,
something like
it's on
that.
the BPU website.
Okay, yeah, I
We know
just
what we
wasn't prepared to talk about
Okay.
solar landscapers
How about
as a
Barbara,
company,
you
because
and
I'm
I?
unfamiliar with it.
I know. I understand that.
how about you and I could work on the language that you want to see, the type of support you want to see from the EC. And I can sort of pass it around to people and say, this is what
I
they're
guess I'm a
asking for.
little urgent because I'm not gonna be in the June.
That's
That's
all right, though, that's all right.
But
No.
what if we
Come with
promise to
glasses.
talk about it anyway?
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
But actually, you,
I could see where you'd be more comfortable if you would read through some things, and this is
Right,
the first
I
time
just,
you're really
yeah.
talking about
you
it.
said you're not going to be, oh, you wanted to do this at the DC June meeting.
I wanted to do it at this one coming up. But, how about we even just start with, let's put some stuff about community solar on our website so that we start educating the public about community,
And that's fair.
okay?
And by our website, you mean the township website?
There's a public utilities specific site, like, for PSE&G, like, James P&L on the township website, so I think we can put it under public.
So do you want to
Or
know?
even in the
We
EC.
can put a link, it's just community solar information on our webpage, and just go to wherever you're saying this information is. That's easy enough to do.
And then the next one, if you want to support that particular project, that's fine.
Right.
So
Give
could
us
we
some
do it
time to
step
dig
by
in.
step?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So at least we can start educating the public about community solar.
Yeah, I've just lived in New Jersey long enough. Just because somebody pops up and they're like, we did it. And then you find out later, they didn't quite do it. Now they have our support.
Yeah, no, they have big projects already in the north. And, like,
Okay.
Yeah. no,
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
dig.
So the Board of Public Utilities did a preliminary for the first 1 or 2 years, and it was so successful that they're now opening it up.
Right.
I think we can do some work, you and I, between EC meetings, and just to make sure it's clear what it is we're going to be saying, and make sure that we can both feel comfortable defending those statements.
That's fine. I'm fine.
And I
I'm
can
fine
pass it
with that.
around to you guys offline, and you can do the research.
Yeah,
Come
I'll
back.
look into it.
And I would love it. Listen, please do. I mean, the more eyes on this, the better. Because
Yeah, it's
I'm-
one of, just solar's the Wild West still.
I
It's,
know.
it's cellular 20 years ago. And so, everybody, a lot of regulations, but they don't know what they're regulating. And just want to make sure that how we say we support it. We could always just say, here's a list that appear to meet the criteria that we set forth in our resolution locally.
But you
And
know,
then you could go and name solar landscapes as one of those.
I can't imagine.
Instead of
us-
specifically saying solar landscapes, double thumbs up.
If it requires us to make that type of analysis, I don't think we're ever going to do that, because
I just want to read about
I'm
it.
hoping that the state has done that analysis, we can just look at the
They,
table and
they,
says.
they have, they wouldn't have
Sometimes
approved
they
this.
ask these folks to self-certify and they audit later.
No, it's,
I mean,
But we'll look into it.
yeah, I'll just look at it. I just want to see what the requirements are to,
Yeah, maybe
I
it
wouldn't
is
be
something
sitting
like that.
here doing this if I haven't looked into it, but I want you to do
No,
it too.
I mean, one
Yeah, I
of
think
four
you make a
of
very
us
good point.
would
It's
like
one of
to
these
look
questions.
into it, yeah.
No,
Get
I
more-
don't have
we
a
can get some
problem
more
with that.
eyes on this as well.
I don't have a problem with that at all. And you know what? The more the merrier. And the more questions, I think it's great.
I think after I look at it, I'll have fewer questions hopefully. Although I've seen that pamphlet before.
Yeah. I was just gonna look at it. Anyway. Yeah, just go to the website and it's on there. It should be on there.
Jesus.
Okay. So that was that. So we're going to move towards educating the public about community solar and then eventually, hopefully, endorse a particular, anyone that meets the criteria, if it works out.
So in the case of solar landscape, that would mean that at some point in time, they would come in to Cranberry to do a presentation.
So no, so we don't need to do this. So I thought there would be like, we'll go to the library and have the public, we don't need to do that. As long as it's on the website and we're educating people and say, hey, just go to the website, it's on the website. Figure it out.
I mean, if it's popular and it's successful, there'll be more of it.
Mhm.
And then people will become more comfortable with it.
Mhm.
But it's always going to be tough to get people on board for the first one.
Exactly. There's no fee. There's a,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
so like PSE&G is still putting in energy. You know, they're putting in the energy and then
Right.
solar, you know,
The solar goes into
into the grid.
and then you get a discount for supporting it. Pretty small.
A small, yeah, portion of it. Right. And there are like about 10 towns that are doing this. You know, Maplewood, you know, there are a bunch of towns that have projects already that are local that they can tap into. Sure. So,
Maybe it's in that pamphlet. But if I did read the pamphlet, maybe it's in there, they would give like an example, like if your bill is this much, you might save $5.
it does. I don't think
But nobody should go into it thinking they're gonna actually save.
Yeah,
there are better
it's
pamphlets
a
than
token.
this.
It's a token amount, but you feel good too. You know, you've invested.
It's not token. It's real money.
Oh, it is. 25% of a portion of your bill potentially. If
But
the
depends what that
community signs
portion
up.
is. If that portion is 60%, then it's
There you go.
reasonable.
Now you're making money. Solar.
10%.
Yeah. you can
So
bump
yeah,
it.
so Sustainable Princeton has a fact sheet. They're doing it already. You know, Maplewood has. And like the next level would be, and I don't think that this is necessary. Writing a letter to, sending it to everybody to subscribe, and I'm not at that.
Well, it's building, right? It's a new program, the 2-year pilot program. So we're in the
Third year. Thank
third
you.
year.
That was the word.
So it's gonna build. I mean, and there's no reason not to support it if it's.
And this is one of the
There.
largest subscribers. There's 800 spots that could potentially subscribe. A lot of
Well,
them are
I
much
mean-
smaller, like 200.
And that's the part, I guess, that when you're like, there's 800 spots, hurry up and get in, or you're gonna miss your chance. All of a sudden, it starts to. So that's why I want to look at it.
And-
like,
And one of the reasons why I
don't
want
be
to
the
make
last
it
one.
no, and it has nothing to do with that. I want to make sure that the entire public knows, so it's not like, oh well, they knew and they got in, and the other people didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
There'll be more opportunities. If it's successful.
Absolutely. Hopefully,
Okay.
if it's really successful.
We have plenty of warehouse roofs.
What's that?
Wouldn't it be nice? There's only one right now. There's a second one that's nearby, but it doesn't meet our criteria, and it's Mercer County.
Oh.
Even though it says Cranberry, we're finding out that it's not. Like,
So
it's not our town. It's Mercer County.
All right, so we're clear out, we're gonna support, how we're gonna move forward with this.
So,
Wait till next, you and I can work on this.
we'll
take
work
the
on
language
the,
of
but
what you
can we, would it be okay to put information, like, are you in support of putting information out there at least on the website? Like, a couple of, like, the BPU,
You mean just generic community?
generic
solar?
community solar.
I don't think we have any.
We
Or
could-
to stop you, we can say it's a great, we approve of the concept of community solar.
Because it's been approved already, yeah.
We've already said that basically, so we're,
So we can start acting on it.
yeah. I mean,
Put
if
the
you
link
want,
up.
and you know, and
We'll start
I
educating.
would say we can put the link on the EC page if you've got something you want us to make sure it gets out to the public and you want to put it in as many places as possible.
And maybe we could just work on that together, on what we would want to put on.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. It's great that I'm even thinking right now. I think I'm thinking. Let's see. So community solar is done on that one. Please don't put that. I think I'm thinking. Okay. Municipal energy audit. If you guys recall what that is, there were 4 buildings now. Gosh, oh my goodness. That we did an audit for, and we're in the process of trying to implement those recommendations. That's on hold right now to find out the process of how we can actually do the RFPs, request for proposals. So there's a little, we're little stuff going on that we need to figure out how those things can actually get done.
Okay.
Does it cost money or is it out of a state pool? Is there a grant for
It is,
And it costs money because you're hiring somebody, but does Cranberry pay or is it?
it's an 80, if it all works out, it ends up being an 80% discount on what the work that you, like on certain things, like an HVAC, if it meets certain criteria, like there's all that criteria, et cetera. And then it's a no, if this all works according to plan, it's a 5-year no interest loan that gets paid off over 5 years to your energy bill. It's on energy, so it'll be capital.
Gotcha. And so who,
Not capital, it would be an operational.
who's the sponsor? Is it state or federal?
It's PSENG. It used to be Clean Energy through the Board of Public Utilities, Clean Energy, and now it's been handed off to PSENG, and this is where things are getting.
Interesting. Sure. Sounds like
Something that I've been working on. But so that's just on hold right now, but that is moving slowly, creeping forward. So just wanted to keep you updated on that. And then EVs. So electric vehicles, infrastructure. I went to the Sustainable Jersey Summit with Teresa, and Teresa and I met someone who actually installs these and is part of our co-op. So anyway, purchasing co-op, that's a whole nother level of budgeting. But he's going to come and look at a couple of places. It's not in the budget now to be putting in infrastructure, but if there are locations potentially, then maybe we could pursue them next year. So one of them might be the library, the school parking lot, and the police department, police. So if you could think of any place else, I'd be happy to hear. So
Cranberry.
there you go. Yeah. So
I just don't know how you even make a recommendation like that. I mean, you've got that whole area that's just up, that Haggerty, what was that called, the Commons? You have all that parking spot up there, but it's theirs. I mean, it's retail parking. It's not township property. You're looking for township property. Right?
I honestly, I'm not sure. Like I think municipal, but if that could be kind of a cool idea.
I mean, you can encourage them to put out there,
Yeah.
but it's really their thing.
And this is all just in planning phase. This is just, are there places? Do we want to put this in the budget next year? Because how I see it is if the police station gets infrastructure, and this is not for the public, this would be so that eventually, maybe if it works, if there are cars, maybe we could start electrifying our police.
I don't think everybody knew that, what you just said there. Is the stuff that you're putting in now is not for the public. It's
Well,
just
that
for
one in
township.
particular wouldn't be, the police.
Right, that would be
I
only,
mean, that's really, yeah.
only for them. Oh, absolutely. It does. And as Americana's got has a sort of level 2 Tesla charger.
What did?
Americana down there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We've had it for 5 years, ever since Tesla's came out.
You know, and Jessica, that's really fabulous because you are right on target because there is a grant, and it's too bad we just learned about it. It's called the Tourism Grant. And it was due May 22nd. I just found out about it. And that would have been a really cool thing. Say, hey, we got this location and we can do this. And then you can make, you know, it would be, I don't know what the amount of money it would be that would be put into that infrastructure. But it's a tourism grant. It's like it encourages
But
people.
it comes to the township, or who gets that money?
You know what, whoever I think applies for, I don't know if it's a municipal, I don't know enough about it because it was May 22nd in the municipal thing.
You know, there might be another one coming down next year.
But, yeah, so these are just things that are, you know, that, as, you know, that I just want to, you know, make you guys aware that Teresa and I are looking at these things and they're out there. And,
Okay.
so tour to be, we're going to talk about the Eagle Scout later, project later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's later.
Yeah.
Rain garden. Are you guys gonna be doing anything about that rain garden, like having the Boy Scouts clean it up at all?
Not in the plans or budget.
Maybe at some point the Boy
It's
Scouts.
possible, we could probably throw something together.
It needs to be cleaned up.
Needs a lot of stuff done. It needs to be,
Well, that's-
that whole gravel area needs to be dug. It's not funneling it like it should, but it's still fun. It's still doing a job at least. You go there, the water is percolating down there. It doesn't percolate as fast as it should because of what's underneath it. No, it's not. It's not in the plans or the budget. So at this point in time, that's the question.
Well, not to just
Not-
fix
not-
it, but
not
at least
the-
clean it.
Yeah.
Like cut it back and prune it and take care of it.
I actually did some work on it earlier in the spring.
Oh.
And it's weeding and et cetera, but nothing substantial, just trying to get rid of some of the stuff that was wrong there. That didn't belong. But no, I don't have that, there'll have to be something we can talk about at a later meeting.
I'm just letting you know. I think that's, I think, if you guys have any questions about from the township committee that, like, you know, anything you want me to bring forth? Besides what's coming up here and that, anything?
The only thing I've got has to do with something we talked about. That's nothing, but you also talked about it in the township committee meeting, which is that kiosk. I know it's never been fixed, and I don't know if it's ever going to be fixed. I never got an answer back about that.
Okay. I'll
It's
look it
as
up.
it's what as it was before. I wouldn't be adverse to having a scout or somebody looking for, you know, what they call it, the community credits or whatever that is, community hours. Fix it up, and we can discuss with them and assist them in fixing it up. I mean, basically, it just needs. I think it can be repaired and look a lot nicer than what it looks like now, which is pretty much an eyesore. It's right on, you know, West Property Drive is.
You know how you, when you turn up to the soccer fields?
Yeah, it's right there. And it's facing out towards Main Street. And no, it's not a building, it's a sign. It's a poster sign. It's got, you know, information about Cranberry Brook Preserve and other information about like all of the preserves. Pretty much beat up. I mean, it's mostly the plexiglass is all cloudy, so it looks like it's just all illumination, and the paint is all peeling from it. And one of the legs is But on top of that, the information could be better. I mean, I think we could probably come up with something that's a little bit,
Severe.
yeah, severe to entice,
Alright, yeah.
entice the public a bit. But last I heard, you know, when they took all the information out, was that it was done because they were going to repair it. And I've seen no indication that any repair was done. So that's about the only thing I've got. I don't know if anyone else has anything else.
I think that might be a great idea to raise it up as a project for a scout to clean it up.
You know, if the township has something in mind, because I know they put a new kiosk in at Town Hall, they wanted to do that. In support of that as well, but I've heard nothing about it.
What?
If they wanted to put a brand new kiosk up,
No.
so that's probably haven't seen the repair that they said they were going to do. So we just need status on that.
I'm wondering if, talking about kiosks, if you want to put any information about, you know, if it passes with muster, putting something up in the new kiosk about the lanternfly. Maybe put up a little fact sheet. It might be something that might be able to
Well, we
be
have
put
the
in.
we could just put the e-blast up there.
I know, but yeah,
Yeah,
pretty picture of a lanternfly.
Yeah. Well, you see it. The e-blast went out last week.
Yes.
So that would probably be the best thing to put out there because it summarizes everything we want them to see, and it's just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. But then there's a QR code, so they can actually just get all the information they want by QR code.
Has anyone seen any yet? Have you seen any, guys?
I haven't seen a one, but I know John Grassley.
You know what you're looking for, Jessica?
No, she wants to know if you've seen a lanternfly.
A lantern? The black.
The only one I know from the EC that's seen one is John. He says he saw some tips.
What's that?
To catch some flies.
Yeah.
Last year was kind of a light year for these things. It'd be nice
It was
if,
later than 2
they
years
just
ago.
went away altogether. No chance we're not gonna.
No, I saw it on the back of a toilet stall in Washington D.C. just about a few hours ago.
Did you bring it back with you?
No, not the lanternfly, but the flyer. So it is a thing still.
Yeah.
All right, so we haven't gotten to that part because we are going to give a little update on that.
We just say that we did talk about it.
So
Yeah, just put a check by it and it's done.
anything else, Barbara, PC related?
Are you trying to kick me out of here?
No, because we got to
I
get
want to
moving.
kick myself out of here.
We got ourselves
We
something.
got 4 minutes to finish.
So let's.
Ooh, quick.
So next order of business. Where were we at here? Okay, I had a little something in here about. We didn't even do the stream cleanup recap. Barbara, so I wasn't there. Stream cleanup. The only thing I've got with stream cleanup was we did get some information from Olivia that I think there was 64 people who showed up.
It was really great. It's always great. I mean, I think one thing that someone brought up is maybe we need to do it somewhere else, or you know, thank goodness Paul and you guys came up with locations because the obvious locations were fairly clean, but the one over on Route 130, that's where the majority of the material came from,
Okay, so
by the Valero.
yeah, okay, good. That's excellent because that was a disaster.
Yes. And oh gosh, I remember it too. So it's also we're getting some good volunteer partnerships with some of the.
Hold on a second, just a recap about this stream cleanup. You said that they did go to that area around Valero, and that was
Yes.
very.
Yes.
Did they go down to Pino, the other Pinos?
Yeah.
area around
Yeah. I don't
there? Just trying to get an idea of where they were. But I know that they said they got 258 pounds of trash, 64 volunteers.
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
It's always so great because the little Girl Scouts become big Girl Scouts eventually, and they do it every year. It's the same thing. We didn't get as many Boy Scouts because they were on a camping trip, but
Yeah, I heard that.
we got people like from Amazon. We got people from like, it's not called Spice Tech anymore. It's called something else. And then we got so we're getting community service from businesses from the warehouse area. So
That's excellent.
and these connections now, they want to do other things, like, like if they know about the blood drive, whatever, they want to volunteer in the town, so it's, so now we're getting contacts, so, ooh, that's, okay, sorry.
So the one thing I did want to bring up though is because I saw that email from Olivia where she mentioned all this, and then she said,
Oh, yes, thank you.
we're writing to request a financial contribution from Cranberry's Clean Communities Fund. I don't know what the Clean Communities Fund is. Is that a township thing?
Clean Communities Funds is our recycling grant. So we get money for the amount of tonnage that we get, that we recycle, we get money back. And that's usually budgeted already for something else. So that they come after us afterwards, I'm not sure I kind of like.
Right.
So like if we sign up for the stream cleanup and it's it's in a partnership with the Watershed Institute, tell us what if we're gonna owe something, So there, I think, the cost, obviously something has gone up and now they're asking us to give money to this event from our Clean Community grant fund. Do you want to do that? Do you want me to bring that back to the TC?
I have no idea. Never heard of this is the first I've ever heard of this. It sounds like it's a township issue, not mine.
Do you want me to-
I like the watershed a lot. I would recommend everyone give money to the watershed. Let's put it that way. I don't know if as the EC we would.
I mean, they've
recommend
never
one-
asked to donate, so this might be, okay, so we donate this year, because we've been doing it for 17 years, so if you donate $200, that ends up being a little more than $10 a year, if you want dollar cost average.
We do have an area of our budget for things like that, for groups that we support. I forget how much is in there, and I don't know whether we have any that's like discretionary that hasn't been earmarked. But we can look into that and see if that makes sense. I mean, I really do like what they do. I think they're probably the better groups that we deal with on a variety of levels. The stream cleanup is just one thing. We rely on them heavily for. So I can get back to you on that. But I
They
just didn't know what
they
this
showed up,
was.
they didn't do t-shirts this year, thank goodness, and they'd had, I had 17 t-shirts, and they were giving out little tree seedlings, which I thought were, like, people really liked that.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
they give some snacks, they have the bags, and we show up, and it's nice. So, nice
I
bag.
realized we just skipped over something that I wanted to cover. Just
Wait, but before, so should we support giving them money out of the Clean Community grant?
I don't feel comfortable making a statement about that. I don't know what it's been earmarked for already, or what. I'm sure the township administrator has ideas about that. I support the watershed, but I can't say that the township should give money from that fund to it. I don't know what it's being used.
Because it might have already been budgeted, so you know what, we'll find out, is all that money budgeted already, and if not, then we can come back and say, hey, maybe we should.
If they're looking for areas where the deserving areas, that would certainly be one of mine.
Because in the past, when Linda Scott did it, she would use some of that money, when 8th graders would go out, they would clean up, and then they would get money for helping, but that model's not happening anymore, so. Linda Scott was our recycling.
You've been doing this for 17 years, never given anything clean from the.
No, this is the first time that they've asked, so surprised something must be on.
Perhaps it's just one town did, and they were like, oh, maybe people are looking for a useful way to use this money that comes back from recycling and to give it back to the watershed. Maybe they're just dropping an idea out
I
You
think
can say
next
no.
year it might be nice if they say, hey, to do this, maybe you might want to donate some.
there. Yeah, just a year in advance gives you the opportunity to put it in the budget.
I mean, they're certainly worthy of it. Let's put it that way. Imagine they weren't doing this for 17 years. We do this. on our
Remember what the total tonnage was that we, over the 17
Well, that's
years?
not my point. My point to discuss about this is would we do this on our own without them? Probably wouldn't. I think that's the pitch that makes the township committee to say we should they're asking for $200 as a bid, so we should do that.
Yeah, because we probably wouldn't be doing it on our own.
We would not do this on our own. You want to see this go away, or would you like to have this continue?
Yeah, it's great. Just write it down. I'm really punchy.
Well, she did send it to me as well, so I could say we discussed this in the environmental commission. We discussed all the good that watershed does for us. I mean, this doesn't even talk about like Pissarro assistance and things
Well,
of that
that
nature.
doesn't, that is so separate from this. This has
It
to
is
do
separate
with
from
this.
this, but that's the watershed in itself. Again, the watershed is looking for money. Yeah. The last thing we want to see is a watershed to go away.
But we give membership.
So let's
I-
move on.
Yes, because they organize it. So they organize it, they bring the stuff, and they come.
Okay, but I'm going to move on because
Do.
we have to, A, and B, that fund is a township fund, it's not an environmental commission fund, so I can't make a statement about whether, what you should do with the township money, I don't think. But if we have money in our budget, I can make a recommendation to DEC that, hey, we do have some money here, we know about the watershed's activities.
Okay,
What do you
move
think?
on,
But
move
I'm
on.
not in a position to say that right now.
Good one.
So what I wanted to go back on just briefly was the fact that Teresa did a presentation to the Lions Club. She was not here to give a recap of that, and I did have a conversation with her, and it went very well. She said they were very interested in it, and she went through all of the things that we do. I think she tried to hit most of the things that were on the website that we've got there. So it's like the plastics and Lanternfly. They were somewhat interested in that. Let's see what else did she say. Yeah, I'm leaving it out here. She did mention the fact that we do a lot of work on reviewing applications and things like riparian zone and stormwater and all that kind of things. And they didn't actually even know what a riparian zone is, which is not surprising at all. There are people on the planning board that really didn't know what a riparian zone was until we sort of brought that up to them. So the fact that they didn't know is what's great is that they were interested in knowing about it. And she also mentioned the rain gardens and also the bioretention basin at the library, which I bring up anytime I have an opportunity to let people go over there, look at that bioretention basin. And I usually try and make a point to go over to that bioretention basin after a huge storm and just to see the progress of it, over the next 72 hours, to see if all that water goes away. And it always does. So at this point in time, that is, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best things that we can point out to people as to how what does work with regards to stormwater management. But she enjoyed doing it. She said it was great. People were very, very interested in hearing about it. So I would like to thank Teresa directly for that, because we need to get that type of information out to the public whenever we can, and this seemed to be a very good venue for it. Moving on, under preserve management, I just want to mention geocaches just briefly. We do have 5 of them, and I find out that these things need maintenance only because my email address, my township email address, is connected with the website, the geocaching website. So when people log something, when they go to there and say great cache or something like that, I find it. But I also find out when they said there is no cache, or the cache is destroyed. And sometimes it's just they don't know how to look for it. But many times it's something that's really a problem, and that was the case with the one we have in Heritage Park. I mean, I knew where that was, and I went out and it was gone. That's the second time that one's been gone. So, maybe it's in an area that's too traveled or something like that. But I replaced it one more time. We'll see how long that one lasts. And no one has found the one in Cranberry Brook Preserve in about 3 months. So I suspect it's gone. So I'm going to check that out and find out where that is. But I'm just letting you know about these things out there, because it is a facet of what we do out there to try and get people to come out and look through some of our open spaces. Erosion control netting in Village Park, as we agreed to at our last meeting, I did send a note out to the township committee on erosion control netting in Village Park and what our recommendations were, what we agreed to. I have not heard anything back formally. I don't know whether I was expecting to or not, but it's out there. I don't think so. Maybe it did. Maybe it just got dropped.
I received an email back from our administrator, and she said that our engineer, when erosion control netting is needed, they will not, they'll say, please don't use plastic.
Right, that's excellent.
So like, at this point, I don't think we need to have an ordinance or anything like that, but, you know,
What that statement you just made has nothing to do with an ordinance though, because the township can they can enact something without an ordinance
right,
for the
so
things
that's
they
it.
do.
Right.
But if, some application, some land developer wants to do it, it would require something in our land use ordinance. So that's where the ordinance would come in, the zoning committee getting involved or something of that nature.
So on municipal properties, that's what, like.
Township
if there's-
owned property.
Yes, right.
So that's why they can stop doing it in the park, they can stop doing it
Exactly, so that's what, that's
in the library
Word, I
and all
got
that kind of stuff.
that when, when something, an RFP or something goes out for erosion control and our engineer, looks at something and will request plastic erosion control not be used.
Right, and that's part A, it's the township now. That covers what the township is doing with on township property.
You're concerned about development.
Yeah, we're concerned about public development, and the land developer. Any of the land developers.
Okay, yeah, I know, because a lot of this came up because there was plastic around the volleyball court and also the plastic erosion control.
Right, so you understand the
And the village
difference
park.
between the township?
I understand.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you understand there's that part two of it.
So yes, moving forward, bid specs for this type of work will state that no plastic netting is permitted. There is really, and whether we want to update the ordinance at this time for planning board stuff, that's
Just general development within the whole township, not just on township owned property.
okay. So
That's the other piece of it, and that would require an update to the ordinance. And that's usually what the zoning committee has done in the past. We've sort of try to get the research done. We work with Tom Decker, and come up with something. So, because we're basically
municipal side or the ordinance.
right. That was the recommendation. But we did, and it's already out there. So, like I said, I didn't see the second part of it, which is, will the zoning committee? We recommend that the zoning committee take this up as something. Right. So that's why I went to the. Gotcha. I suppose, this went out to the township committee from the environmental commission. And you said that you sent a response back to the environmental commission?
I forwarded that list, administrative engineer now.
Right. All right, so I wouldn't think I'd have to do this, but I will. If I'm not going to get a response back about the zoning committee, I'll send something back and say, I did not hear anything about whether or not the zoning committee is going to take this up as an issue. And finally spotted lanternfly. The blast went out, and that's about all I'm going to say about that. Well, I will say I haven't seen any lanternfly yet. I would expect we're going to. Maybe it's going to be an easier year. I also did update the. I didn't actually publish the update, but I did update the website to reflect the latest information on what people are talking about. And basically, there's almost no new news out there in the state of New Jersey on lanternfly, other than all the counties are now in the quarantine zone. So what that means is, if you're in Cranberry and you're going outside of New Jersey, well, if you're in New Jersey going outside of New Jersey, you have to inspect your vehicle and all that kind of stuff. And if you're moving stuff that's on the, especially certain things that have to be thoroughly inspected or something of that nature, you have to submit a checklist. Whether or not anyone does this, I don't know. I just know those are the requirements, and it's detailed on the website. But we are, Cranberry as part of Middlesex County, as part of New Jersey, we are in the quarantine zone. I think, but basically, New Jersey is treating it as a nuisance bug at this point in time. They're saying that it will be a nuisance to residents, but they don't see it as an economic threat at this point in time. So there you have that. And the last thing I have on here is nuisance bug. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Oh yeah, it will do some stuff, but it's not something that the Department of Agriculture is not spending the money that they had planned on that. But in other states like New York, where it's hitting for the first time, they sound just like we did 2 years ago. They're doing almost the exact same things, getting rid of the tree of heaven wherever they can find it, and I think that's always. I still think that's a good idea for every resident. If you've got tree of heaven, to get rid of it. As an invasive, should get rid of that. And that's an e-blast. All right, the last thing I got is, where's that? I just got this, considered new business. There is a, I believe his name is Kona McAllister, an Eagle Scout applicant. I think I got that name right. And he is proposing for his Eagle Scout project to build a new bridge at the west entrance of the Eagle Scout Trail on the west property. Now he's saying the west property, but I mean, that's really, if he's where he's talking, if he's putting where I think he is in the Cranberry Brook Preserve. Because the west property is a separate area. I think that's where, you gotta know exactly where the west property is, right? That's the area where the soccer fields are, maybe a little bit, yeah. And that's not where he's putting. He's putting in the Cranberry Brook Preserve, that Eagle Scout Trail. And I know where that's at because what he wants to do is, I guess it was sparked by the fact that the bridge that was there before floated away during the last floods that we had a couple of years ago. And the DPW had to come out and cart it back to it's a very heavy bridge and put it back in place. So he's talking about replacing that with a sturdy, safe one that would last for years. So, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'd like to probably invite him here in the next meeting to give us a description of what he's talking about. What he plans on doing. Maybe I'll try and have a conversation with him. I will have a conversation with him between now and then, just to see if he's willing to come in and give that type of a presentation. Sounds good, unless it's overkill. Oh, good. If you have more information, I just got this from the.
It sounds like a great idea. My concern with anything that has to do with if it's a stream or wetlands or whatever, does permitting need to be done? And if permitting needs to be done, he will be 25 years old before he can get his project done. Sorry. What do you think, Jason? 23 years old?
Exactly. He's gonna do it before he turns 18. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he proposes, because I'm trying to think what would work there. I mean, what's there now is a pretty substantial bridge, but it does float away under like a floataway. So we'll see what he's got to say. And I'll let him know that. I'll let him know that feedback when I talk to the cable structure. Yes, exactly. But that's all I've got so far. So that's gonna, unless he backs away once he hears about the possible permitting. Well, I mean, we know that there are things that are permitted. You know, you can have a trail. You know, nothing permanent, but you can have a trail there. So we'll have to see what he plans on putting there. So that is all I'm aware of at this point in time. Mayor did send me something saying, advise if you support you need to grant this approval from the EC. I'll basically advise him after I have a conversation with Kona. All right. Anything else? I don't think there's any applications. Right? Any other questions? Anything else you want to bring up?
I'm just looking at Jessica, too, because, so Sustainable Jersey again. So we are a silver level Sustainable Jersey school, and the 3 years have come up, and they're going to be recertifying the school again. And there is a group. I talked to Jennifer Drisler, and they are putting together a sustainability team in the school. They're looking for people if they want to be on a team. Jessica, kids are in school. If you might be interested, or Jason, or whatever. Michael. But anyway, so